The geography of the Iranian plateau places it at the center of four cultural zones: the Mediterranean, Mesopotamia, India, and East Asia. For 2 millennia, this position made the plateau a principal crossroads for global commerce and religion. This raises a question of intellectual agency. Was Iran a passive receiver of ideas or an active generator? Historical evidence suggests a more complex reality than simple invention or imitation. Iranian intellectual history shows that originality emerges through the continuous integration of external streams. We can analyze this process by viewing civilization as a macro-level cognitive network, rather than a linear sequence of events. In this model, geography dictates the network's topology, the pathways through which information flows, and the capacity of the system to process that data. Continuity theory suggests that ancient civilizations can be modeled using the exact same regulatory principles as neural networks. Intellectual currents, like art, religion, and philosophy, act as strain flows. These are data streams that enter a system and force it to reorganize to maintain stability. This network had a specific baseline: ancient Iranian thought. The structured order seen in the reliefs of Persepolis reflects an early, stable internal framework. This ancient foundation prioritized cosmic order, or Asha, alongside moral responsibility and historical progression. Because this ethical architecture was highly stable, the civilization could absorb massive external shocks and information influxes without losing its core identity. Iran built a regulatory framework capable of survival long before it faced the contradictory ideas of the broader world. Following the Hellenistic and Islamic expansions, 3 distinct string flows entered the Iranian network: Greek logic, Indian psychology, and Arabian theology. Avicenna functioned as the first major historical processing node for these streams. Avicenna re-engineered Aristotelian logic, forcing it to resolve the contradictions of Islamic theology. This reconciliation produced a specific structural output: the foundational philosophical distinction between essence and existence. This distinction became the primary code for nearly all subsequent Persian and Islamic philosophy. We see a similar synthesis in science. This manuscript shows empirical observation mapped with the same geometric rigor used in philosophical logic. Greek rationalism was systematically transformed into a uniquely Persian metaphysics. The system's processing methodology changed with Suhrawardi and the School of Illumination. Suhrawardi integrated a dormant data stream into the network, ancient Zoroastrian light symbolism. He combined this indigenous symbolism with Platonic forms and mystical intuition. This expanded the system's criteria for truth. Knowledge no longer relied solely on logical demonstration. It required direct, experiential presence. By prioritizing direct awareness over pure syllogism, Suhrawardi created an intellectual direction distinct from classical Greek philosophy. Cultural synthesis occurs when these interacting influences generate an entirely new method of organization. Mulla Sadra acted as the system's terminal high-order attractor, achieving the most comprehensive synthesis in Iranian history. To prevent systemic paradox, Sadra had to reconcile a massive volume of conflicting inputs: Aristotelian logic, Platonic metaphysics, Illuminationism, Sufi mysticism, and Quranic theology entered his system at once. He resolved this friction with the primacy of existence, the doctrine that existence itself precedes and defines essence. He added substantial motion, modeling the universe as a system in a constant state of existential upgrade. Finally, he integrated logic and mysticism into a single framework called the unity of the knower and the known. In continuity theory, this represents a newly achieved regulatory equilibrium. This level of innovation requires centuries of prior synthesis to provide the necessary data. High-level originality emerges when historical contradictions are successfully resolved into a single, unified architecture. In neural networks, long-range association fibers connect distant regions. The Silk Road functioned as the physical version of these pathways. Once the Iranian network achieved high-order synchronization, its intellectual outputs radiated across the continent. This Persianate civilization spread into Central Asia, Anatolia, and the Indian subcontinent. The Mughal Empire illustrates this aesthetic synthesis. The architecture here relies on the same geometric precision found in Persian logic. We see the same integration in this miniature painting, where Persian literary traditions and Indian aesthetics merge into a unified visual reality. Cognitive integration eventually manifests as physical reality, reshaping the art and administration of half the globe. The individuality of Iranian civilization is defined by its extraordinary capacity for cultural digestion. Iran converted external materials into uniquely Persian forms while preserving their highest utility. This historical evolution follows the same organizational logic found in biological neural systems. The record of this civilization illustrates a core principle of continuity theory. Higher order organization arises when diverse regulatory systems exchange information, while maintaining the internal stability required to forge new structures. Iranian philosophy is the proof that originality is the emergent property of a civilization learning how to harmonize the world.